Hi folks, Andy Fionn here, Rambles with Robin and Ruby, and our grandsons Brayden and Adrien. In this video, we start the big trip by leaving Dawson City and begin to head north to the Arctic Circle and ultimately the Arctic Ocean. These were just two of the milestones we wanted to share with Brayden and Adrien. Join us as we start out on the infamous Dempster Highway. As an aside, in summer of 2023, the Yukon part of the Dempster Highway was in the worst condition that we had experienced compared to our previous trips in 2007 and 2019. The length of the Dempster Highway from its junction with the Klondike Highway in Yukon to Inuvik and Northwest Territories is 740 kilometers, or 460 miles. It's a long gravel highway. It is notorious for causing broken windshields, flat tires, paint chips on your vehicle, and challenging vehicles with small gas tanks. The first service station heading north is located at Eagle Plains, about 370 kilometers or 230 miles north of the Klondike Highway. For most, fueling up at Dempster Junction is essential, and we carried extra gas. Like so many people, we also carried two full-size spare tires, one for the car and one for the trailer, plus two different kinds of tire repair kits, just in case. Now for the record, for the 8 times we traveled all or parts of the Dempster Highway, we have not needed to use the spare gas, and we have not experienced a flat tire. Amazing. After topping up the car gas tank, we made the mandatory stop at the Dempster Highway information signpost, so Brayden and Adrien could familiarize themselves with the trip ahead. Adrien, are you excited about starting? This is the big trip. This is going to the Arctic Circle. This is going to the Bering Sea, as some people call it, the Arctic Ocean, and Tuktoyaktuk. Is this an exciting morning, or is it, well, we'll see. We'll see. And Brayden, exciting morning, or, well, we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully we won't have any flat tires, because it will be a royal bother. So this is mile 0 of the Dempster Highway. Our first stop was just north of Tombstone Territorial Park Interpretive Center at the lookout of Tombstone Mountain. Our plan was to stay in Tombstone Territorial Park on the return trip, so we pushed on over the highest part of the Dempster Highway called North Fort Pass, whose elevation is 1,298 meters or 4,229 feet. As you might expect, this area, including the Blackstone uplands, is underlain by permafrost. Finally, we saw the Ogilvie Mountains. These mountains are dominated by limestone and dolostone rock, and they mark the location of our second stop, Windy Pass. At Windy Pass, Brayden and Adrien got to experience walking on valley tundra, and they got to experience the mosquitoes. So this is Windy Pass, and it is very buggy, but it's an opportunity to at least see what the alpine tundra feels like under your feet. As Brayden said, it felt like the ground was just going to collapse beneath you. Not very windy today. This part of the drive through the Ogilvie Mountains is quite special. The general scenery is spectacular. Along the roadside, you see glimpses of the red-colored Engineer Creek. The creek rock is also stained red. The red color comes from iron-rich minerals that coat the rock and that are suspended in the water. In this video description, I provide a link to another one of my videos that describes what is going on here with the creek chemistry. We stopped at the bridge to witness the mixing of the red Engineer Creek water with the clear Ogilvie River water. This is Jekyll Bridge on the Dempster Highway. where the Ogilvie River meets the Engineer Creek. So at this location, Engineer Creek, which is on the left, it looks a little muddy, but it's stained actually with iron-bearing minerals that are precipitating when they mix with fresh water or with the oxygen. And this is the Ogilvie River to the right, and it's much clearer. So when the two mix, you get a distinct line between the iron-rich water from Engineer Creek and the clear water from Ogilvie River. And here's a really good illustration where two bodies of water mix with each other, and the chemistries are very different. So on the left is water from the Ogilvie River, and it tends to be clear, whereas on the right you have that chocolate milk colored water which comes from Engineer Creek. The Engineer Creek water is filled with minerals. Those minerals were dissolved by rainwater and snowmelt, and it dissolved the rock. The rock released minerals into the groundwater. The groundwater discharges on surface to create Engineer Creek. So the two of them will eventually completely mix, but right now there's a very distinct boundary between the two, a color boundary and a chemistry boundary, which is very cool. This tour is right ahead of that limestone mountain. The limestone weathers and is dissolved by water, and it leaves you with these fantastic sort of castle looking things. It's a pretty good indication that this area has not been glaciated, because those tours would not exist. The glaciers would destroy them. We left the chemical magic of Engineer Creek and headed to the Elephant Rock pull-off. Elephant Rock is a tour that is located on a mountain across the Ogilvie River, and it does indeed look like an elephant. So we're at Elephant Rock along the Ogilvie River, and Brayden and Adrien are just finishing up throwing rocks. And we did see the elephant, which is kind of cool, right? Okay, one more rock, Adrien, and then we gotta go. After a 9-hour drive, we finally arrived at Eagle Plains. Our speed along the Dempster Highway ranged from 5 kilometers an hour to 55 kilometers an hour to ensure we avoided the potholes. For context, that drive from Dempster Junction to Eagle Plains normally takes about 5 hours. Our 9-hour drive reflects the really bad Dempster Highway conditions in July of 2023. I was so mentally exhausted after the 9-hour drive that I did not have enough energy to help set up the car top tent. So I rented a room for Brayden and Adrien instead. Libby and I stayed in the trailer. So we made it to Eagle Plains. We're at the Eagle Plains Campground and RV Park. And that's just a little view of what it looks like here at Eagle Plains. We've stayed here before. It's been really busy at times. It seems to be a little quiet tonight. Those are the sites that are actually serviced by have electrical service. There's no water here. You have to get your water over at the showers. As we go further north, the toys begin to change from, or at least they change compared to Southern Ontario toys. Our snow machines are a workhorse of the north. And that's the entrance to the Eagle Plains Hotel. Lots of people here tonight. It's by no means full. Oh, we're just standing at the lookout at Eagle Plains. Eagle Plains lies south of the Arctic Circle by about less than 40 kilometers. So it's 9:30 or 9:40 tonight on July 15th, so the sun is still quite high in the sky. Many people will just drive from Dawson City to Eagle Plains, stay overnight, visit the Arctic Circle, and then turn around and head south. And that's a major achievement for many people, is to actually see the Arctic Circle, stand on the Arctic Circle. We're going to do that tomorrow, and we're going to go further north to Inuvik and Tuktoyaktuk. These are some of the buildings of the Eagle Plains Hotel. and I see a sunset, a rainbow I should say, over in the distance. Eagle Plains is known for many things. It has hotel, campground. It has some really fabulous photos, historic photos. It's also known for tire repair. A lot of people get to this point and they need to have a spare tire or their main tire fixed. Gas, diesel, and the scenery is actually really quite stunning. There's the rainbow again. We're looking to the east at the Richardson Mountains. They're kind of cloaked in cloud right now. See a couple of people either boondocking or camping down below. And a lot of traffic going north. Truck traffic. We'll stop here for fuel and a meal. These are the gates across the Dempster Highway at Eagle Plains. If there's a weather issue, the lights will come on, the gates get closed, and you do not pass go, and you do not collect $200 going north. Actually, you don't collect $200 anyway. But Eagle Plains is a good place if you get stuck. This is a good place to be. At least they've got lodging and food. We have a lovely rainbow. Not sure it will come out or show, but again, looking east towards the Richardson Mountains. There's our shadows.
So today we left Dawson City right over here. We stopped at Dempster Junction and we went all the way up to Eagle Plains. Go. I think the highlight for today was arriving at Eagle Plains, because we had just gone over a nice long 9-hour drive. I think the low light would be the 9-hour drive, because that was a very long drive. But we did stop in some nice cool areas like Tombstone. We saw the Ogilvie Mountains, that was cool.
Probably the very long drive and how tired we all were after it.
My granddad splurged. And neither of you complained the whole day, which was quite remarkable, so good job. Good job, Granny.
I complained all the Didn't make any difference.
Oh, you gotta do the road. All right, so that's today. We were up bright and early the next day, July 16, and headed north to the Arctic Circle, another one of the milestones. It's milestone number 2 or 3. This is the Arctic Circle. And everybody's reading the signs. Very windy. So we'll just get around to the front here. So we got the sign, the full sign. Arctic Circle, latitude 6633. And the Richardson Mountains in the background. So it is very windy here at the Arctic Circle. And we were just discussing that most of the classmates of Adrien and Brayden, and for that matter, most people in Canada, will not have the privilege of actually standing here at 6633 North, the Arctic Circle. So it is kind of a special place, and they're quite shy, so they're not turning around to... There, Brayden's turning around, and Adrian's going to turn around, but he's investigating something. So it's a special place to be because most people won't get here. So that's pretty cool. Richardson Mountains are kind of cool because they served as the buttress to stop the continental ice sheet that covered the entirety of the rest of Canada and the northern United States. So they protected Yukon during the last ice age, and that was instrumental in creating the land that we call Beringia, and that's what we're standing in right now. This part was never actually glaciated. The other thing that's kind of cool is you see the clouds as the air blows up from the, looks like from the southeast. As the cloud blows up and rises over the mountains, the air moisture condenses, you get clouds, and as the air passes the Richardson Mountains, the clouds just vaporize. Well, actually, the moisture disappears, and we get nice, beautiful, clear skies to the north. A lot of people just drive up to the Arctic Circle and turn around and head back, and that's actually, we've just seen someone who was at the campsite at Eagle Plains yesterday, and they're just heading back south. As Brayden is thinking, we laugh at bumpy Dempster roads. So, and Adrien is thinking, when are we going to get to Inuvik? We laugh at the Dempster Highway. It's a pretty rough ride though. probably the roughest that we've seen in our 3.5 legs doing this road. But however you cut it, it's a pretty special place to be. Just north of the Arctic Circle is Hare Mountain. We stopped there to hike the foothills, but I'll save that for its own video. From Hare Mountain, we headed further north to the Rock River Territorial Campground for lunch and an unexpected chemistry feature. I was surprised to see a white-colored boundary between a small creek that merged with the Rock River. It's a very interesting white-colored material that's precipitating here where the two creeks meet, right more or less at the junction between the two of them. The flow is causing the white material to get pushed against the outside of the creek where it's precipitating a white stain. The rock itself looks to be black shale with sandstone layers deposited with it. We have some iron stain on the rocks where the river used to be. The smaller creek was in direct contact with black shale, which is known to contain iron sulfide minerals and elevated concentration of metals like zinc. While I am not an aquatic chemistry expert, I suspect the white boundary forms along the mixing zone between the Rock River and the small creek. That in turn suggests that Rock Creek has a very different water chemistry compared to the smaller creek. Now, I do not know if the white material is algae or a mineral precipitate, but it certainly was a surprise to see. In the Northwest Territories Information Center, located in Dawson City, we were told to watch for 2 grizzly bears just south of Wright Pass in Yukon. Sure enough, we saw them. We were told the dark-colored bear was a juvenile that was still with its mother. The mother was a light brown color. They were quite amazing to watch as they walked and constantly ate their way across the tundra. What a treat for us and what a treat for the grandsons. So we've made it to the border between Northwest Territories and Yukon. Just leaving Yukon, just entering Northwest Territories on the Wright Pass. Been an exciting morning. We've seen the Arctic Circle. We hiked in the foothills of Mount Hare, and we saw 2 grizzly bears. And now we're at the border with Northwest Territories. All of this excitement.
Oh, yeah.
Shortly after we crossed into Northwest Territories through the Wright Pass, we came across what had been a recent fire on the tundra. This is the first time I had seen signs of fire on the tundra, so it was another first for all of us. We crossed the Peel River on the ferry and headed to the campground at the Johnny Charlie Visitor Center. That was our destination for the evening of July 16, 2023. This is an unserviced territorial campground located beside a visitor and fabulous cultural information center. The campground includes a tented group camping area constructed using the locally made tents by Fort McPherson Tent and Canvas. Water is available at the central restroom. Flush toilets and showers are also available at the central restroom. It was a bit buggy, but given that we were close to the Peel River, that would be expected. On the morning of July 17, 2023, we were off to Fort McPherson to fuel up, have a quick look around town, and then head on to Inuvik. After leaving Fort McPherson, our next stop was at the ferry that crossed the Mackenzie River. The ferry crew are excellent, but there had been high water issues in the spring of 2023, and the loading and unloading ramp areas required daily work to ensure a smooth load and unload process. while ensuring there was no damage to trailers. For some travel trailers, that required a little extra attention. From the Mackenzie River crossing, the trip to Inuvik was uneventful. The quality of the Dempster Highway was excellent. You can tell you're getting very close to Inuvik because suddenly there is a sign pointing to the Inuvik airport, and then pavement appears. Before you know it, the blue and red Inuvik Hospital also appears. If you're curious about the pipes that are strategically located along the outside of the hospital, you should take a look at one of my other videos entitled Building on Permafrost, The Cold Reality, Inuvik, Northwest Territories, June 17, 2019, Season 2019, Episode 23. The link is in the description accompanying this video. Incidentally, those pipes are part of the engineering required to keep the permafrost frozen beneath the hospital. While driving through Inuvik, you'll see what is reported to be North America's most northerly traffic light. And you'll see odd pipelines that are raised above the land surface. These are called utilidors. They contain water and sewage infrastructure because to bury these below ground in this permafrost country requires major engineering. Again, watch my video entitled Permafrost, The Cold Reality, Inuvik, Northwest Territories, June 17, 2019. Our destination was Happy Valley Territorial Park Campground, located right in Inuvik. The campsites have electrical service, but you have to fill your water at a local water supply. While in Inuvik, we provisioned for the travel to Tuktoyaktuk, which started the next day. And because Inuvik is well north of the Arctic Circle, we were in the land of the midnight sun. This was one of the milestones to share with our grandsons. There is no doubt that 24-hour sunlight just plays with your head, but I just love it.
Well, it is Monday, July 17, and Brayden is going to draw on the map to show us where we traveled today. Here you are, Brayden. Here.
Alright, today we left Fort McPherson. Pretty boring ride. We crossed the Mackenzie River on a ferry and we hit Inuvik.
Highlight and low light of the day.
I think my highlight would be entering Inuvik. It used to be the end of the Dempster, but now the Dempster goes all the way to Took. And I think the low light is still mosquitoes.
So, the highlight for today was probably going across with the Mackenzie River with the ferry, because the ferry was very long almost, so that was kind of annoying, but it was a really cool ride. The low light, there's kind of two low light. There's mosquitoes here, a lot of mosquitoes and bugs here, and the long drive is kind of annoying.
So that's a wrap for this video. When we drove the Dempster Highway from Dawson City, Yukon on July 15 and arrived in Inuvik, Northwest Territories on July 17, 2023. Join us in the next video where we head to Tuktoyaktuk on the Arctic Ocean. If you enjoyed this video or learned something new, please consider liking the video or subscribing to the channel. Thanks very much. Bye for now.